Hey peeps, not feeling too well. We've had some problems with mold in the bathroom because we had a leak 2 or 3 times, I think twice. And then I had to empty 2 suitcases of clothes from 2 years ago. So they've been pretty much sitting in a suitcase outside the back of this camper getting wet from rain and building up mold. So I already have asthma and I smoke and I have allergies, and I've been taking my time for probably 2 months now cleaning mold out of the clothes. It was 2 huge bags, so having problems breathing. And yes, I'm eating again. Some people laugh at that. I'm eating a veggie burger. Of course, oranges. Or cuties. And garlic. Woo. Very strong garlic. Which always tastes good. Back with an orange. So, I'm going to grab a napkin. Whoa! And I'm not embarrassed eating in front of anybody. I hear they have a word for people who eat online by themselves. I don't remember what that is, nor do I care. So, hope everybody's been doing well with all of this crap going on social media and YouTube and people banning videos. So I'm starting to wonder. I'm like, no, this is not going to be the new normal for me because I'm just not going to deal with it. So you get a customer about a month and a half ago who, when I delivered their food, she was giving out masks and alcohol wipes and something else in little baggies. And then sometime a few days ago, someone said, okay, just leave my food on the table. I've left you a bag with a tip in it and a mask. I thought, how cute. And on the bag it said, because of course I washed it, DoorDash, our hero. I thought that was really awesome. These masks I got from a friend of mine who she started a website a couple months ago on Facebook, Vegas Community Strong. So they're a resource group. And somebody, or maybe a couple of people, were making masks. So I have these 2 masks, plus the one I've been wearing, because I'm a DJ and it has musical notes on it. I thought it was adorable. I just washed it, so I'll put it in the bag as well. That was one. Here's another one. Pretty fashionable, eh? Let's all make a statement. We don't have to wear swastikas, or we don't have to wear, I'm a Jew, Juden, on your arm. Now you can just cover your face with a mask. Cute. I don't always wear masks. I mean, I very rarely wear masks. Will I get the virus? I mean, I could. And it wouldn't be such a great thing for me because I have a compromised immune system. Probably from vaccines. Because I have stuff scattered around my car and the house for protection, and I thought, okay, well, let's just put it in a bag. So that's what I'm gonna do. Oh yes, this was the lady a couple months ago. Oh yeah, so I said mask, alcohol wipes, also, and little gloves. How cute. So, my bag of safety for delivering to people who are going through this and have ordered more food in the past 2 months than I've ever seen anybody order food in 1 year's time. So I don't know about an economic crisis for them. And then I had grabbed 3 bags of these very cheap plastic gloves just because when everyone was so afraid, not that people aren't still, in the beginning, you know, and they weren't covering or cleaning the swipey things and the counters in convenience stores and whatever, I'd put a glove on, or if I had to put a gate code in to get into somebody's apartment or housing complex, I would immediately, you know, well, in the beginning, I was making my own, I guess I remember telling you, for my fingers, but then these gloves were actually the only ones that were available because everyone was hoarding everything at the time. And then I had a friend bring over a bunch of these gloves, which I haven't worn yet because I'm still going through the plastic ones, and I can save this for the next wave of whatever virus they're going to come up with to force us to take a vaccination. And then the same person who gave me those gloves gave me these N95 approved respirators. So put those in the bag too. Whole bunch of them. The good kind. But I'm not wearing them. I'll keep those for more serious BS that's going to be going on. But hopefully we have enough people out there talking like Ralph Smart and not too much Teal Swan talking about this stuff. And Abraham Hicks is still, you know, basically talking about our regular stuff and adding about this crisis here and there. But mostly, I guess, Ralph Smart, and then other people who aren't as spiritual but are just aware of what's going on. Because we have people who are asleep, which is a lot of people. And we have people who are aware. They're just aware that things are going on and that religion is a bunch of BS because it's man-made. And then we have people who are awake, who don't talk about religion and who are very clear about what's going on and pretty much see the matrix for what it is. And then we have enlightened people. To explain that to an unevolved mind gets me nowhere. Yes, most of the people walking the planet are not evolved spiritually. They've just lived through ego. So when you're telling people they're wrong about things and you make yourself look like a fool because you don't realize how stupid you sound when you tell people who know things that they're wrong. So I've been getting this a lot lately on Facebook, where I'm writing another book. So I've had like 13 websites, and you know, I lost some over the years and I got some back, and I have a blog. And at the time, I had a blog for each of my 13 websites, and I also had a few forums for some of the websites. So I was trying to, by myself, like I like to do, for I don't know what reason, because I can never fully give 100% to so many projects that I have going. I'm like 500 people, you know? But anyway, I've calmed down some. I still have a few websites. I lost my main ones and then got them back last year, and the content for those websites are on a computer that was smashed by my daughter's shoe because she was so mad at somebody else that she threw the shoe to the ground and said, "Your existence, I don't understand how you can deal with yourself or live with yourself." threw the shoe on the ground and it bounced up and smacked my screen, and it's been sitting in storage. That's another long story I don't want to get into. So most of my scholarly papers from when I was in college are in there. I have a couple on here because I saved them to a stick. And then a lot of my backups were done on that one computer. So 2018, when I lost my main websites that I started in 2007, like Sewing Social Worlds and Creators of Our Lives, and I had so many. A Woman's Domain, Net Culture News, because I knew back in the day that some crap was going to happen, and I thought maybe I should have a news station. Anyway, I didn't keep up with that one. I didn't want that one back. And something Webunity, because I knew that the web was going to be the new community. So Webunity, like in 2007 or 2008 or 9 or something. And I came up with all of this stuff. I equals E above A. So you can read about that on one of my blogs, because I don't feel like discussing it at the moment. But my blog on Blogger has been out, I guess this is like my 5th year writing on it, and I don't write on it every day. I only write on it a few times a year. Probably one year I think it was maybe 7 times, 8 times, and that was the most. Anyway, it's called Bring It Into Manifestation. So it's bringitintomanifestation.blogspot.com. And like I said, my first post on here was January 12th, 2015. And then I started writing something tonight, because I'm writing some articles for my Sewing Social World, since I can't use the articles that I'm supposed to be putting on there. I had millions of visitors to that site between 2007 and whenever. And I chose to get my word out that way. So I kind of started writing a history of me tonight, and then I realized, you know what, you just write so much. Like, everyone has a way. Some people channel. I write. I live with my inner being, not against. I'm not all about ego. I mean, not that I never am, because that wouldn't be true, but I think, they should mesh. Like, you should kind of live together, because you are living together. Ego always gets in the way, and you kind of push your soul. You are a soul. You don't have one, you are one. You just kind of put it on the back burner, and you don't ever hear what it's saying. So let's see, my first post on here was January 12th, 2015. I realized that many people have visited, and that I wasn't advertising, so I don't exactly know how many people visited. I mean, I know that some do, because some have said your blog is very helpful and shared it with other people. But I chose all of that time not to have an option to follow. And then a few months ago I said, yeah, well, let's just open up that option. So I mentioned it a couple of times on Facebook, but with my usually almost 5,000 or 5,000 on Facebook, I couldn't even get 1,000 people to follow me, because, well, they're all selfish, or they don't believe, or, whatever the case may be. It's all me, and I want to win this argument, and why are you posting crap like that? This person is not credited, this person's been discredited. I mean, it's just like a bunch of crap right now. Anyway, so I did choose to open up that option a couple of months ago. So if you go to my Bring It Into Manifestation blog, then please follow or subscribe or whatever. Okay, so in 2007, I'm going backwards. So this was 5 years ago. So this was like 2015, January 2015. In 2007, I created a website called Sewing Social Worlds. And not too long after that, Net Culture News, Something Webunities, A Woman's Domain, Creators of Our Lives, Shenanigans. I told you I equals E above all, and a few more. I had 13 websites in total, kind of like 13 parts of me split up. To tell you the truth of what is going on here on Earth and within the galaxy. And then I mentioned how I lost my websites, and most of them, in 2018, because And I was put in a compromising position. Taxes came in late that year, or whatever the case was. And we went from a 4-bedroom home to a camper, and that story I don't even want to discuss. I'm sure it's on this blog somewhere. But not as a woe is me or whatever. This blog teaches people how to bring things into manifestation, but not like telling you how to... Basically telling you the law of attraction is a true law, but if you don't change your belief system and if you don't change yourself, you're not going to attract good things. So, anyway, it took 1 year. I was able to get back to serving social worlds. It did. Somebody bought it. So GoDaddy says. I don't believe that. I believe they take it when you have an issue with payment and they say someone buys it and we're going to put it in auction for you. You just pay 60 some odd dollars and then we'll get it back. And it took a while for them to do it, but they got it back. I was like, hey, I've been with you since 2007. This is my first website. Sewing Social Worlds is my baby. Okay, so in 2019, I began to put content back on the site. I have all the content backed up where I told you about the broken screen. Anyway, so this is really a task because I don't have a lot of content on that right now. And I don't have a lot of content on Creators of Our Lives. So those are my two babies, like more important than any of my other sites. So it's important, but I have so much other stuff going on now. Those sites at that time were just, I only had to maintain them. I already had content on them. All I had to do is make sure that it was always updated, and if I wanted to add more content, that was it. Now it's like starting from scratch, and it's a pain in my rump, but whatever. Really, it is a task. Okay, in 2007 until 2013, I was studying human behavior for a PhD in advanced studies in human behavior. Only 1 month after I graduated from a master's in education program with a concentration in curriculum and instruction. In 2003, I was studying criminal justice in a dual degree program, business administration for an associate's degree, and criminal justice for a Bachelor of Science degree. In 1984, really going backwards, I began going to the library to study racism, white and other nationalism, and superiority, which included Hitler and the Third Reich. I was still studying that in, I'm going to say 2000 something, I don't know. And I had a family member come in the house and was quite interested in why I was studying this. I was a part of a few white nationalist websites, and this person got awfully mad at me and said, I guess maybe thought I was in on it or something. I mean, hello. So we had a huge fight. I was called crazy, this, that, the other. But this is what happens when people see other people doing things kind of out of the norm, I guess, to them, and assume that you're doing something that you're not doing. Somebody has to be interested in this. So I was. Well, anyway. After learning all of the above, after creating websites and blogs, 4 years ago, I asked myself, what's my purpose in life? Too funny. Well, about 3 years ago, a dog ran onto the road, and my action was to move the dog with my mind so he wouldn't be run over. This is a natural ability, so I was not aware that I did this. I mean, I thought, who thinks that fast? Here's a dog, here's your tire. That dog should have been smushed, right? Anyway, I even looked in, knowing the dog was going to be alright, because you know how you know what you do and you know how you are, but it doesn't always happen, and other people are around, and you kind of, I'm not going to say active or hide things, but, well, anyway. I turned around, I mean, I looked in my rear view and my side view mirror to see if the dog was okay. Of course, the dog was fine, running down the street in the opposite direction. That dog should have been dead. It happened also with another animal. So, I'm not that weird. I used to burn candles and envision things, and that I wanted, because that's who I am. Not a brainwashed fool, and I'm not a tool for the puppeteers running the Matrix. I've always just done my own thing. So I stated things that I wanted when I burned candles and whatever. I didn't pray or ask, because that's not what praying is supposed to be. I know you've been told different. You pray, you wait for God to answer, or someone else you were taught about in between, and then you wait for an answer, just like you're waiting at this time to be saved. It doesn't happen. You have to save yourself. And you don't pray and ask. You make a statement. I would say demand, but I'm not going to say, that's kind of harsh, but you make a statement. But you make that statement with belief. With positive vibes. You know, you have to do things intentionally. You can't just sit there and just pray for something that you're hoping is going to come, because you're going to keep hoping it's going to come. Anyway. So, okay, the burning candles, I did that, I stated, then praying. I'm sure I'm going to post this when I finish writing it, but it's taking me a while, because of course I'm doing like 3 other projects at the same time. And this also helps me kind of keep track when I'm talking, because I always have so many things going on in my mind, and I'm trying to fix this area right here that probably looks crazy right now for my live DJ shows, and for this I'm trying to fix this one area so that it looks a little more pleasant when I'm doing videos. I mean, I do care in a way. I'm sitting here in my pajamas with no makeup on and sick, and it's whatever. It's what's coming out of my mouth. It doesn't always have to be about that presentation. I'm also, last month or the month before, I started a cover for my videos, and I haven't finished that. Of course not, because I have a million things going on. And because I've been posting a lot of things on Facebook and getting accused of being a, what do you call it? Conspiracy theorist. Yep, that's me. Not. Sorry. So, that was part of, like, the magic that I've always believed in. I meditated as a child. Not because somebody taught me or even ever mentioned it to me, just something that I did. And I don't really do a lot of that now, but I enjoyed astral projection as a child and creative visualization. Because, yes, I'd run out and play with my friends, and yes, I always had my homework done, but my time, which is something that only some of us have these days, because the rest of you are busy running around doing shit that's not for yourselves, and you don't even know who you are or what you're capable of. You don't do these things, and you usually do them because you hear it from somewhere. But I never heard it. I just did it. It was just a natural thing for me. Because I can't say, like, I've ever had a veil on. I never enjoyed the news, so I never watched it, so I wasn't tainted by it. So when you guys tell me that you see, they said this on the news, and they said this, that, who cares what they... If the news is censored for a reason. Do you ever ask why it's censored? Like, what are they trying to hide? I don't see a lot of people... I see more now because this is going on. But you don't naturally just ask questions like I do. There's people who love me, and there's people who just don't understand me and don't want to hang out with me because I'm extremely analytical, or I question a lot of things. And I usually know the answers to it. I just must question people as to why they do things, because there's a better way to do it, or because you're brainwashed. Can I talk to you? Let's discuss this. Anyway, from not doing all those things and not believing half of what I learned in school, I wasn't affected by stupidity. Sorry, I'm very honest about that, because there's no reason for me to hold back because I'm going to hurt someone's feelings, or because someone might say, oh, look at her, she thinks whatever. No, I know whatever. And I have to deal with people on a daily basis, and I think that everyone should be informed about the crap that's going on the planet. And it didn't really just start here. It started somewhere else. And for me to say that to some of the people I know, they'll be like, she's crazy. I'm not crazy. You guys are just uninformed, and you need to evolve. There are people that understand what I'm talking about. Obviously, they're all over YouTube. But of course, they're crazy to those who are brainwashed. Also, I was arguing, and I don't know if my sister remembers this, but I do. I was arguing with her one day. We were very, very young. We were in her bedroom, and something she said got me really mad. And there was a hanger on the door, and I looked at it, it swung around, and it smacked her. Or went in her direction, whatever it was. And I don't know if she remembers that. But it's people, maybe skeptical people, who have an answer for that. Something probably hit the hanger and it swung around the door. No, that's not what happened. I remember conversations from my crib that my parents would have around me. I remember creating worlds as a baby in my crib underneath the blankets. I mean, I'm just one of those beings, so I'm sometimes flabbergasted at the crap that I hear on Facebook. Like, all week long I've been posting videos on Facebook. And according to everyone else, not everyone, there are people who agree, they're not true. YouTube is not a good source for information. Actually, it is. The news is censored. Who says that's a good source for information? Facebook, until recently, was uncensored. And it's real people talking about real things that go on. And I'm not going to say there are some people that don't go on there and lie, because we have a bunch of liars, and starting from our leaders and the freaking elite. I mean, yes, people lie. But if you don't want to take the time to find out who the liar is, there's something wrong with you. If you don't want to say, okay, there's some truth in this, but this seems a little outrageous, I'm just going to listen to the news, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with us. There's something wrong with you. And you should question that. And now you're probably like, I'm going to just turn this off. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with you. There's plenty of people telling you, why are these people just going to go on YouTube and just make up lies? And I'm not saying, like I said, some people do. But most people do not. They just want to get it out. Or they just want to have fun. Or they're just trying to make money, whatever the case is. Yep, you're going to find a portion of people who lie. But you find that on the news. And some of them don't even know they're doing it. That's the sad part. Yep, again, I didn't turn off my notifications. Alright, so after learning all the above, after creating websites and blogs 4 years ago, I asked, what is my purpose in life? Too funny? Okay, so I went through all of that. And I shouldn't really question that, because I've had all of these experiences and the things that I've learned in school, because even if I didn't want to do something and it fell in line, there's a reason why that happened. Like, there was a certain degree I wanted to take in school that wasn't available at the time, for the time that I wanted to take it, or something like that. And I wound up taking education. So education with a concentration in curriculum and instruction. There was purpose for that. And then so I add everything all together, and well, I mean, eventually my plan is to start my own community with my tribe, because I have a lot of patience for stupidity. I really do. All the ignorant bobble freaking heads walking around the planet, brainwashed in the Matrix, just walking around ignorant, like they listen to everything they're told by their superiors with their authority, and they think, I mean, they are human. What makes you think that everything they say is true? Well, that's my big question. I mean, surprisingly, if you look at a lot of the information out there that happens to be true, you're going to find out how you've been screwed with. Wow. With all that said, it should be no surprise that some humans walk around like puppets in the Matrix and some as living gods. The ones in the middle of puppets and living gods, we can call curious to aware. Curious means that someone is tired of just surviving and wants more out of life, or someone who thinks that religion is a crock of BS, and they begin to look above and beyond religion and slaving for the puppeteers, and through this they become aware, and then some awaken. Being aware and being awakened are different things, and so is being curious, and so is being enlightened. When you're awake, it does not mean you're enlightened. Can religious humans become aware, or can they awaken and then become enlightened? Of course. All humans have the ability to become enlightened. And this is something we need to discuss. Not just right here, I mean in general. Because we hear a lot of talk about enlightenment and the planet's awakening, and a lot of the planet's becoming aware. They're not quite awakened. The veil is being removed, sure, for some. And some for some things, and others to the entire nature of the Matrix. Yes, okay. But the word is being thrown around like everyone is awakening, and everyone is not awakening. Some people are. There's not enough. Because if more would, this crap would not be going on right now. Because we'd need to end it. And one awakened person is stronger than, let's just say, 50 who aren't, 100 who aren't. Well, you get what I'm saying. So we need way more people to awaken. So, okay, so about throwing around the word, what do people say now? I'm woke. First of all, that's like slang. You're not woke, you mean you're awake? I mean, it's not even a joke. Humans throw around the word awake or the slang, I'm awoke, as if they know what they were talking about. Well, you don't. Feelings hurt? Too bad. When you sit in an audience or personally listen to sages or gurus, enlightened humans, they do not apologize for insulting or say I'm sorry. This is no joke, so I will not apologize for saying that many humans are puppets indoctrinated into the Matrix at birth. By the way, that's the name of my book. And that most of the time when you say you're awake, you are not. Further, if you are telling people you are more special than they are, you're a liar. If you say, how do you, what? If you say, how do you, well, if you say that the Most High anointed me, and you're talking religious crap, and giving that perspective to teach people, you're not enlightened or awake. People who are awake and enlightened do not talk or give their perspective to people in a religious fashion, because his religion, it sits in the matrix, it's man-made, and it's not true. And being at some point, a very long time ago, let's say a pope or someone in that area, took all of the Bibles away from people, burned them, and then took what they had and changed the words. And a person who's awake or enlightened is not going to quote you a bunch of crap from the Bible because, well, we know it isn't true. There are things in the Bible that are true. So here's the two things. One is, some stuff is true, but you probably don't know what it is because you never go inside of yourself to believe that you're a spirit and believe that you have information inside of you. We all do. Which is the only difference between you, who was probably not evolved in any fashion spiritually, and people like Buddha and Jesus and us. You have no clue. You're like, no, something is wrong with you. It says this in the Bible. Okay, whatever. So believe what you want to believe. So people who are awake and who are enlightened don't talk like that. I mean, people wrote the Bible. Humans wrote the Bible. It would be more likely to believe that enlightened people who knew the laws of the universe and how one should act to get this to happen, or the law of attraction, all of that is actually in the Bible, but you would never understand it. You only understand what the church tells you. So, I mean, I'd like to say, so how could you know? So, I mean, I guess I really just feel bad for you. I've had so many freaking arguments in some fashion on so many platforms. Because I've been all around the web, the different web unities, forever. So, what was it? Google? They don't have it anymore. It was like your Google community with the Google chat and this, that, the other. And I'd have arguments with people. So it's like I'm at the time was a vegetarian. Now I'm kind of like mostly vegan. I'm sure there's things like honey and whatever that I eat, but and that my child does not drink milk and I don't drink milk because I've been trying to explain for like 10, 12, 15, I don't even know how many years that milk is not good for us because we're not baby calves and it'll probably make our bones really brittle. Then we'll probably get osteoporosis and they'll say we're not drinking enough milk, right? Okay. So this dude got on and he's like arguing with me. Like, I can't believe her. Don't even listen to her. She doesn't let her daughter eat meat. It was my daughter's choice. Just like when I was growing up, I asked my mom, hey, can I become a vegetarian? She didn't say no. Why would she? That's another problem. We'll talk about another day. How parents tell you whatever because they're so freaking brainwashed from generation to generation. You either get some kind of sickness or become a fat cow. Sorry. Or you're busy throwing up because you're thinking about who's going to think you're chubby when you're skinny, and so you constantly barf. And this is a problem with society. This is what happens in the Matrix. They tell you to eat the bigger burger, the juiciest burger, drive the fastest car, and you take all this in, and you listen to them, and you're brainwashed, and that's like your only goal. There's no goal that's personal. It's just what they tell you. Tell you to believe and tell you to do. And it's a damn shame. Anyway. So, we don't want to listen to people who throw religion in our faces. Because most of it's not true. So, you can become the spiritual being that you are, because your spirit before you're born, your spirit during your lifetime, right? Just with an ego in your vehicle for the lifetime, and then your spirit when you die. So therefore, you're always spirit. So why would you not be a spiritual being, enjoying a human experience, instead of being told what to do? I mean, don't you feel like a puppet or a robot? I don't know. Alright, so the last thing I got up to was, let me put it to you this way: religion is man-made and spirituality is natural. Oh, basically what I just said. So, spiritual beings do not need religion because most religion do not embrace us as spirits. Religions tell us that there is only one spirit, which, yeah, that's true. And he sends down, and then he'll send down a spirit as a living God. This is not true in the way you were taught. There is truth to it, but it is twisted information, just as the information changed in the Bible. I mean, I can't really probably get into this with those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about and won't believe it. And a lot of people, of course, on YouTube do, because I see how many people watch Ralph Smart and Teal Swan and Abraham Hicks and Bob Proctor and many others. Louise Hay, but she's no longer with us. These people aren't just there to make up crap. They're really trying to tell you who you are. And I've chosen, since I was a little girl, to do it another way. Of course, we didn't have the internet back then. So at 7 or so, when I was saying, why must everybody fight? Why is everybody fighting about race? I didn't believe in race back then, and I don't now, because science doesn't credit it. There's no such thing as race. There is a human race, but there are no broken up races. It's just skin color, and that happens depending on where you live, right? So, I chose to talk with people and learn about people and just stare at things. Or people are like, what's wrong with you? Are you paying attention? Yeah, I'm just looking at the mountains. And in a car ride, I could be chatty-patty or typically very quiet because I take everything in. And because I feel like I have a relationship with everything on the planet, because everything is consciousness, that's alive, and everything communicates in some way, and I communicate with everything. I hear and I see, and it's amazing. Sometimes it's scary, but my whole point is, I think I'll be on a lot from now on, because I started with that, and then studying the racism and stuff when I was 18, 19, I don't know, 1984. And then I was writing papers, but I was writing these papers, keeping stacks of papers and all my information, knowing someday I was going to write a book or do something with it. And in 2003, when I went back to school, was when I really started, like in my bachelor's program. I was focusing on, because it was a criminal justice program, I was focusing on the disparities in the system as far as what you call race, and also on recidivism and how the system does not work, and it couldn't. It's like a black and white, and you all get punished for this, and you get punished. You get the same crime, they punish the same people in the same way, and that doesn't work because some people don't care about some things and some people do. It's like punishing your kids the same way. Who would do that? Like, this would bother you, so this is what's going to go, this would bother you, so you're not the same people, so how do you punish people the same way? And then for my master's in education, I focused on basically the BS that we're taught in school. And I don't want to get into that now because that's a whole subject on its own. And then I always had some twist on racism, though, in all of my programs, except for the associates in business, and didn't have anything to do with any of that. And then in my doctoral program, I was really focusing on social worlds, which is why I started that website, Sewing Social Worlds, and how cultures are sewn using graphs, and actually comes out to look like a big flower. But then I could put everything together. So that's when, in 2003, I started talking more about the Matrix than any other subject. Because I was able to do that. I didn't have to just focus on one thing. I just learned what I learned in both of the other programs, which is only, like I said, I didn't even finish. I still have the opportunity to, but school is a bunch of BS. And having intelligence coming from your ego is nothing like being a spiritual being, because spiritual beings already know this stuff. So why pay for an education? Why not just become yourself? That's a thought. Anyway. I'm writing a book, and I did a couple of ebooks a few years ago. Didn't really advertise much, and didn't do much with it, but there's just a bunch of words. One was an introduction book, and some people I knew online bought it. Now I couldn't even do anything with it if I wanted to. I wanted to edit it or update and repost, but it's in that broken computer, or a computer with a broken screen. So I always knew, I think back in the day, now this I do have on one of my USB sticks, My Philosophy, book 1 through 12. So it was already going to be 12 books. I'm still doing the same thing, only it's not called My Philosophy. It's called Indoctrination into the Matrix. And it will also have 12 books, but it's more of me keeping a history of everything that happened since back in God only knows how long ago in the universe. Meaning, a lot of the things that are going on now and have throughout history is a result of spiritual war. That's why we're having this issue right now. And to tell you that, except for believers in this, and the rest of you think it's crazy, you can think it's crazy all you want. I mean, if you believe a man went to the moon, and you believe we're spinning around on a ball in the middle of whatever, it's like magic, right? Then you must believe that we are in touch with people on other planets in the galaxy. I mean, you'd have to believe that to believe everything else. And if war started there, and people were in contact with each other through whatever means they use to get back and forth, then you must believe that this war is still going on. If you haven't noticed, a lot of people go inside because we're multidimensional beings, and a lot of you don't understand that or don't give a crap. But there's a lot of us who know that. And you can't say no when you haven't tried. And that's the problem with most people. That's why well, it's not really why they hung witches. I mean, but, like, it seems like Buddha was fine. And then we have this great story of Jesus, who you all take out of context. And the problem with you taking it out of context is that if the way he died was the way you think, then you're totally disrespecting him. He was a man who lived like the way a bunch of us right now are telling you how to live. Crush your damn ego. Find your inner self, which is the real you. You're like an avatar. I don't know how to put it better. I remember playing, with Barbies and stuff when I was younger, and I felt like this taller person over them, which I was, kind of like your inner being is the same thing. So just picture it. I don't know if you ever remember playing Barbies or G.I. Joe, whatever it is you played, and you remember kind of sitting there as you're making them talk with one another and then saying, oh, this is what's happening in real life. That's kind of what's happening in real life. I mean, I don't have a better way to explain it to people who really don't understand this stuff, but it's kind of like that, except we're not being forced to say things. We just, I mean, you guys are so confused. You're like, I wonder what's going to happen with my soul. And you don't have a freaking soul. It's you. You are the soul. And this is only you right now. It's not you forever. You're an eternal being. So right now you're in this. And the challenge is the ego, basically. Like the ones I've been seeing on Facebook a lot. Stop posting that stuff. It's not a credible source. Okay. Because you know everything. It's like, drop your ego. Because when you sit there and tell people, they're like, well, how do you know? You can't say because I just know. Because that's subjective, right? And for years upon years, people have been taught to, when they conduct research, this is why school is the way it is in the Matrix anyway. We'll talk about that another time. They would only accept the scientific method. They'll only accept something that's objective. Because they don't allow subjective research because they say it can't be counted, so therefore it's not true. That is not so. I'm sorry. Well, here's one thing you can't do. Objective research on feelings, and feelings are totally subjective. It just so happens that a lot of people say things without any backing because they know it's true. And these fine people who have been ruling us for such a long time know this. That's why people were killed, like witches. They weren't bad people, they weren't evil people, they're people who know things and can do things. God forbid that should get out, right? I've seen videos on YouTube like they're hiding God. Well, I mean, people will probably say, that is so ridiculous. What do you mean they're hiding God? Well, they are, in a sense, but it's in a philosophical sense. So most people who are like the puppets in the Matrix will only take that one way. They take everything out of context. Everything that's true. So anyway, what did I find? So with all these arguments, like, I'll post something, and then I'll let somebody say something, and I'm not playing, like, a game with them, like, this is good for my research or whatever, but I had to tell somebody the other day, I know what I'm doing, I know how to conduct research. This is part of my research. And it's not to play games. One, I do put videos on Facebook to inform people. Yes, sometimes there are banned videos that we found another copy of and we throw it on there. And it's because if it was all bullcrap to me, I wouldn't post it. Sometimes there's a lot of truth in something, and then somebody else may come on in the video, or they might interview more than one person, and two people are credible or seem like they're telling the truth, and the other person seems a little outlandish, but I'm going to post it. Because I believe when a bunch of people get together and make videos that these people think are bull crap, there's a reason why they're doing it. It's not because it's popular, it's because something's happening. And post it. And I believe everyone deserves to know what's going on, no matter how we have to push it out there. And then we have these creepos like telling us, that's not credible, take that off, do you always like to post things? Yes, I do. I like people to know. The other reason why I do it is because apparently, I just told you my history, I am interested in the way people are influenced by social media. So this helps me a great deal, because that is also in my book. Because we have a bunch of people sitting here, especially today, glued to their phones and glued to the TV and glued to this, that, the other, and believe everything practically that they hear. And they believe every authority figure as if nothing else is true. I'm sorry. They've turned everything so backwards that you think you have a soul and you don't think you are a soul. That you think you're going up to heaven. Okay? And that there is a hell. Do you really believe this? I mean, where's heaven? Where's hell? Can you even say? I mean, you think you know how far the sun is and the moon is, which is also a bunch of bull crap. But can you tell us where heaven and hell is? Or has nobody actually stated that because there's no heaven and hell? They're just states of mind. That's another story also. Anyway, so after like getting beat up by some people verbally, which was also very insulting, like, if you come onto my page and you see something you don't like, you might want to tell me in Messenger. Because a normal person who has compassion for other people would do that. Instead, I have people coming on my page telling me how stupid something is, or how stupid I am, right? How stupid I am, I who knows more than you know, and embarrassing me. And I'm like, you shouldn't be doing this on a person's page. Like, tell them a message. Do I go to your page and attack you? If I don't like it, I just don't say anything. Or I will say something, but I'm not going to say it's not true when I don't know that. Chances are I do, because of what I believe in. And chances are you don't. So I decided tonight, well, let me look up some of this crap. Because I have a problem with certain people who are in charge. Especially ones who do something for so many years and then they decide that they're medical experts. I'm just not going to believe a thing you say. And then I'm going to do research on you for months at a time to find out where else your fingers and money's in. Because money seems to buy everything in the Matrix, right? Buys truth, buys lies, buys people. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, so this man has his fingers and money in everything. Let's link everything back to World War II. Because I keep trying to say, right now, except that so many people have found out, this plan might not go. This is not over. That's all I want to say. But how can you believe all of this crap that's going on? If you have your hands in something and you are such the expert and you're an expert, why do you have ties with each other for people who are interested in eugenics and people who are interested in abortion and vaccines? And does all of this not seem strange to you? It seems a little strange to me. now people who are stating everything that they can about what they know or what they feel, it's being banned off of YouTube, which is now censored. So I see we've found some other places, and you know what? I've added some things to my website. I'm not quite finished, but I'm just making a community out of it like I used to have before, because I want people, like-minded people, or people who are curious to learn, to be able to talk without anyone saying shit to them, because you can't just shut everyone up just because. I have watched what's been going on for the past few years. I mean, never mind the fact that maybe it's an exaggeration that Walmart backwards is martial law, and that I have watched, and we don't know why, we've seen like a lot of army vehicles just passing by, and just out of the blue, all the noise that's been going on underground, you know, building homes for the elite, and just a bunch of crap. And there could be so many reasons. One, radiation in the air. Maybe they don't want to be affected. Two, we're supposed to be heading for an ice age. I don't know if you know that. I don't know about the bullcrap and the asteroid that's supposed to hit Earth, but maybe there are some believers in that. I don't know. But the truth is, we're supposed to be, we're headed towards an ice age, and people are talking about maybe it won't happen because of climate change or whatever, and maybe the elites caused climate change and are blaming it on everyone else so that, you know, it wouldn't happen. But yet they're building homes underground. You can actually, like, if you're really rich, of course, you can buy these spots. So that's another story also. But I mean, if you have ties to all of this, there's a problem. Like, you're in training right now. You don't see that? I'm reading this paper because somebody argued with me on Facebook the other day that I said something about vaccines, and then she said, oh well, you're totally selfish. Yeah, I'm selfish. If you think that children who aren't vaccinated should be around children who are vaccinated and possibly kill them. I was like, well, actually, you're selfish. Parents look into this. Like, if a parent is in a doctor's office with their child and they get a vaccine and the child's eyes roll in the back of their heads, or they have a seizure, or they stiffen up, or something's going on top of that, now that the child's life is ruined forever, and so is the parents, that's selfish. On top of that, I wish I could remember what I was going to say. Oh, a lot of parents who don't have their children vaccinated say their children are perfectly healthy. They don't ever get sick. But yet, children who are vaccinated are sick, runny-nosed, snot-nosed children running around school, getting all of the other kids sick. So who's being selfish? And then brings up how children who aren't vaccinated are killing newborns without an immune system. Okay, well, newborns without an immune system are basically home, because they suggest that your baby stays home. And then you wait a couple of months and you take your baby out, or your baby's crawling on the floor in the house or on the ground outside, puts his fingers in his mouth, catches stuff, and builds its immune system. And so what she brought up was kind of dumb, because those newborns aren't in school with children who aren't vaccinated. They're not even in the park yet, right? So I'll listen to that. Anyway, it seems like an hour and 4 minutes have passed. And, you know, me and my random BS. This is a channel for random BS. I would like you to share it with your friends, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of things in the future. I'm changing some things around. And although I do speak about some spiritual things on here, this is not my spiritual channel. I do have one. This one is Random BS. I have 4 actually, but 2 that aren't musical. Random BS, and the other one is, I actually think it's called Indoctrinated into the Matrix. Something about the veil. I mean, it's mine, I don't even know. Hold on a second. I will look it up. Alright, so... like that white noise in the background? It's SpongeBob. Okay, so... let's see. Search for... I think it's like removing the veil, indoctrinated into the matrix. That's how little I go here. I started setting it up before this one, and I haven't really been back. Oh. And I found it. Okay, it's called Unplugged from the Matrix, Lifting the Veil. Unplugged from the Matrix, Lifting the Veil, and I only have 2 videos on there, and they are not of me speaking yet. Just about 5 months ago, I put videos on there with things that I'm going to be teaching in some courses on my website, Creators of Our Lives, which the acronym for that is COOL. Creators of Our Lives. I set up in there a forum, and I set up courses, but they're not out yet. And the courses are basically on changing your belief system, because while all of you watch all of these videos about the law of attraction and manifesting, you manifest every single day what you want. You just don't always manifest what you want, because you're not manifesting intentionally, and because things like this that put you in fear lower your vibration, and then at that point you can only manifest that which your frequency is. So if you're not up here, you're not getting anything up there. You're going to get everything from down here. So it basically teaches you about your belief system and how you're indoctrinated into the matrix, because even if you say, I want this, you are not going to get it. And even if you say, well, I've raised my vibration, so my frequency is higher, so I should get better things, you still don't mean what you say. You may say you want something, and you will not get it because you don't believe in certain things in order for you to get it. I mean, they always have the example, like, when you say you want money, right? And then Bob Proctor said this. But you're not going to get that money because somewhere in your mind you think money is dirty, or rich people are greedy and they're no good. I mean, but this is not just about money. It's about everything. So that's why I'm wanting to teach courses, not to just adults, but to children as well, to change their belief system. And it's not just that, it's other courses and other things. And for very, 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 minimal amount of money, or some free. And then educational videos, which will either be mine or shared of somebody else's, because your kids don't go to school and learn about who they are. They learn about every other freaking thing that's ever happened or not happened that they say happened, or changed the way it happened, but everything to keep them away from themselves. I mean, do you realize that in other countries, like, just say in Mexico, they take siestas during the day, in the middle of maybe work or whatever it is, and that in Greece, I think, years ago, and I don't know what they do now, they take like 2-hour lunches or whatever it is. Yep, people make time for themselves, but not here. Here you will know nothing. You think you live in a capitalist society? That's only partially true. You know, they say that so I don't like any of this crap, but I'll talk about it anyway for a second. So, say I grasp capitalism, but, you know, there's a fine line between everything. So I'm not just going to be a capitalist. I might also be on the line of, well, in this country you can just say communist, and I know that people think that's crazy, but look at how we're run. You can't say you're not a socialist or a communist or a fascist and have some of the beliefs that you have in this country. So you're lying to yourself, and they're lying to us because, well, they are. And that's what they do best. But anyway, it's, again, unplugged from the matrix, and then semicolon, lifting the veil. And so I want to start growing that, but I always have such random BS to talk about that I have more videos here than there. But there it'll be more about spiritual things and not so random, just put it that way. So they could both be the same. It's basically for individual and social justice. But this one here is more random, because I mean I could talk for hours, obviously, and go around in circles about this shit that's not related to anything I said, but I mean to say it just in a very strange order. But that's what this channel is about, and the other one is more spiritual, and it will be talking more about the spiritual warfare and how it started and who you can watch to find out some of this stuff, where it started in the galaxy and it's here now, and this channel right here, Random BS, is more about probably discussing more about the bullshit that we learn in the Matrix, and how this is an exercise, like you're in training now, because you might not want to call it another Holocaust, but something's coming. So when you read your fake Bible and it tells you about end times, it is. These right now are the end times, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the planet. It's just the end of life as we know it. And what is it? It says in that BS, 7 years of tribulation. Okay, we're going to go through a lot of this for a long time. So, when and if you are now reading the Bible, just try to put it, don't take it out of context. Just like, I know you don't have a choice because of the way it's written and the way it was changed, but you're just going to have to use a different perspective, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so I'll be fixing this area and doing more videos throughout the week. I think the last time I did a video was last month, and actually I did one 2 weeks ago, but I couldn't find a light outside, and I was talking for 12 minutes of crap for no reason whatsoever, except for the shower in the sky that I was looking for that I couldn't find, so I deleted that tonight. But, alright, 74 minutes later. Thanks for listening. Be safe.